Debra, Coco, and welcome to the Just Gimme the Mic show, where we pass the mic so you can tell the world who you are and what it is that you do. Welcome. Check us out every Sunday night at 10 p.m. on Bronx channel 68, and look for us on YouTube.
Hello, my name is William Russell Moore. It is my distinct pleasure to serve you as your next City Councilman for District 18 in Bronx County. I'm impressed and motivated by the bold public sentiment in my district that it's time that we put aside self-serving politics and place the concerns of the community first. My highest priorities are rebuilding our local economy, supporting our working families, providing better public safety within the community, creating new educational opportunities for grades K through 12 and post-secondary education, protecting and enhancing the environment, and building more youth and senior centers. My various experience in all levels of local government have afforded me the opportunity to hit the ground running and get results. Our breakthrough as a community is long overdue, and I pledge when I'm elected I will break ground on new initiatives that will put you back to work or in a business venture with more money in your pocket. When everyone in our district can make an honest living, we will make sustainable inroads to wealth, power, and prosperity. I have a 9-point political platform on my website at more2013.com. Point number 9 is my economic development plan for District 18. I plan to oversee the construction of a for-profit, holistic, multicultural center in our district. This center will be a state-of-the-art arena built with union labor to host world-class acts, on and off-Broadway performances, and generate sustainable profits by tapping into the lucrative travel and tourism industry. We have about 80 different ethnic groups in our district with very little to do. What we do to entertain ourselves is to go downtown to 42nd Street and support the economic growth of Lower Manhattan and not where we live. With our very own multicultural center, we can showcase the stories of each ethnic group in our district and book world-class acts to grow jobs and other opportunities. This center will also serve as a micro-business incubator for aspiring entrepreneurs looking to jumpstart a lucrative business idea and grow local jobs. I hope you join me, William Russell Moore, on Election Day so that together we can move the Bronx forward. Vote William Russell Moore, Leadership for a Better Future.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Debra Coco, and we are live here at BX Records. Thank you so much for allowing us to come in and shoot this special show that we have today. Today we are talking politics, okay? We have an election coming up September 12th in New York City, and we have one of the candidates here with us today, William Russell Moore, and he's here to talk about his campaign. He's running for District 18, and we're going to talk about the issues that are being faced within District 18 and how Mr. Moore, our candidate, plans on addressing these issues in the upcoming election if he wins and throughout his candidacy. So, welcome my guests.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I really am happy to have this opportunity to sit down with you. Mm-hmm. This is actually going to be my first interview discussing politics and what is going on in our community with an actual candidate that is running. So I'm very excited about hearing your story. Yeah. And I wanted to start off this interview by giving our audience a little bit of background on you for those who don't know. Yeah. So tell us how you got started in politics and a little bit about your journey.
I'm originally from the Harlem community, and my mother and my father and my grandmother inspired in me that belief of giving back, and they reared me for that. And so along my journeys, I went to PS 153 in Harlem, and that's in the Sugar Hill section of Harlem. Mm-hmm. I'm proud of that. I believe that it gave me, that Harlem spirit gave me the edginess that I needed, the tough side that I needed, along with my upbringing from my family, and that critical thinking. Right. Okay, because we have a lot of heroes and sheroes in Harlem, I want to emulate the strength that Harlem exhibited to black people in Harlem as well. I went to college. I went to A. Philip Randolph Campus High School, 135th Street. And from there, I graduated and went to Farmingdale University in Long Island. And I got involved in the student government movement. And we fought for the rights of students, from budget cuts, to our leadership roles on campus. Because at that time, the white majority of students, they didn't feel as though that the black students and the Caribbean students that was coming on campus really had a place I used to live in Suffolk Hall, and Suffolk Hall I considered the hall of leaders because it seemed like all the troublemakers were in Suffolk
this
Hall.
one hall, okay.
Yeah, and we were fired up, and then we had our resident director. His name was Albert Thompson. See, I'm going back. I'm glad I have a good memory.
Good memory, right, in the 80s, right.
And Albert Thompson, and basically he was the one that was the pivotal point in our lives and our structure to basically organize us. And so then we realized that, hey, we're living on campus. And the folks that are basically telling us that we have no rights, that we have no say, we can't express ourselves, our cultural identity, or the commuters who are majority whites.
Right.
They're telling us this because they were used to that. You know,
they're getting away with regulating and controlling what's being said.
They're commuting, and they got these positions and stuff like that. So they figured that they had the power. But then, I realized and the elders realized that we are the majority.
Yes, and we have power too.
And
right.
And the bad thing about I would say black people, Spanish people, whatever. Sometimes we think that we are the minority in certain instances of cultural exchanges and organizations, stuff like that, or society.
Diminishing our power.
When we are the majority.
Yes.
So when we understood that, that's when we organized and we start to run for leadership positions.
Good.
And we basically won those. We won all of them.
Oh wow. Okay.
Won them all, and then we start to restructure the whole campus life because the problem was not only the commuters that was coming to the school and trying to basically put us in their own paradigm of structure.
Right.
It was the administration that was supporting that, so they had a thinking of that we were basically nobody. So we had
that backing from the higher ups, and they felt like.
So we had to break that culture, of oppression.
Wow.
And suppression, right? So after that, I went to Stony Brook. Same thing. Since I went to Stony Brook, they actually wanted me out. They didn't want
none of that on their.
So I went to Stony Brook and basically did the same thing on a different level, and got involved with the student government and so forth, in different clubs and so forth.
Okay.
And one of my colleagues, a couple of my colleagues, the Speaker of the House right now, of the Assembly in Albany, Carl Hasty. He's a colleague of mine. He went to SUNY Stony Brook. And so, as you see, people that went to Stony Brook are now running a lot of governments and running a lot of the politics in New York City.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay.
Yeah, so if you really want to be a leader, go to Stony Brook University and partake in the civic life of the campus and in the clubs, and you'll learn the ropes like I did.
Yeah, becoming is definitely.
So after I graduated from Stony Brook University, I got employed by the Department of Youth Services under Richard Murphy, and there I spearheaded. I was one of his assistant commissioners under him. I was assisting him personally.
Okay.
Me and another guy named Sean Joe, and it was basically a summer internship. And it was wonderful because he gave us full reign to come up with ideas to change the lives of New York City students.
Nice.
So I came up with a program myself called Youth Watch, which basically monitored the negative and positive news stories that was being spread about youth at that time. Because
I read about that.
Back then, young people were being attacked, from the Central Park jogger situation.
Right. It was
and how Trump at that time called them wolf packs and all that. And to this day, never really apologized.
Never.
And even to this day, they've been exonerated. And still no president. Apology, and now he's the president.
Yeah. How did that go? I don't know how that fell into play.
It tells you what's going on in the society.
So you kind of helped with the imaging of the youth within media?
Yeah, anytime there was something negative, we'll reach out to that writer or that paper and basically see, well, did you look at this angle?
Right.
You need to start to talk about and write about more positive news stories.
Right.
But the problem is with media, a lot of media, and I'm not attacking media, I love media, right? Back then, it's probably changed now because we have the advent of social media, which is now the media of the people.
But it changed as far as like the large scale with the Times and the Daily News, and it's still a little improvement. It hasn't been much,
true.
But there's a little. But they still find ways to put negative stereotypes when it comes to certain situations. We still know that.
And the bottom line is because they want to sell papers.
They want to sell papers, and they want to.
and the suffering and pain of black and Hispanic people.
Right, it's true.
You know, they just want to sell papers because, you know, you can tell a positive story or you could do something positive and you invite the media to come out, they don't come.
They don't come.
But the minute someone gets shot in the projects, right?
They're there.
They're all there.
Thank goodness for Bronx News 12 and all these other local stations that are highlighting the positive things that are going. Not just crime and people getting hurt, but you do see some positivity, you know, within our community by watching the local stations. So thank goodness for that.
Because if you constantly start to hear that, you know, there's crime in the next to the night, there's crime on the streets. Before they used to call us the inner cities.
Right. The inner city was a popular term. It definitely was.
Labels to classify.
And what is the inner city? We're just in the city. We just, you know, it's like, but it was a classification when they used that term.
But now, you know, now they realize that, you know, wherever there's black and Hispanic people, there's life, right? There's something good going on, particularly in, you know, the gentrification started in Harlem.
Yes, it did.
So now there's an influx of new money that's coming into Harlem and stuff like that.
New properties, new developments, new people.
And, you know, it pains me, right? It pains me that, you know, growing up as a young person in Harlem, and we, you know, folks can talk about, oh, well, you know, the people of Harlem, maybe the people of South Bronx, but talking about Harlem, they you know, Dave Diggins offered them to buy brownstones for $1. You know, it sounds good. It sounds good.
Yeah.
But at the same time, most people don't forget or remember that at that time of him offering those properties for $1, right? There was something called redlining, where the banks, right, the majority of white banks that control America, international bankers, they were redlining the area of Harlem.
He was denying those applications.
So that means you can get a property for $1, but how are you going to rehab the property?
Exactly. You're
going to need at least about $450,000 to $1 million just to get it where it needs to be.
And who's going to approve that? The banks were not approving that. So
it's not going to happen. So what happens is that they just became depressed properties.
Yes.
They just sat in the community, became eyesores. There's a number of institutions in Harlem that became eyesores, and whoever held the property and paid the taxes, if they did pay the taxes, are the ones who are benefiting now.
Yeah, they're getting those big paychecks now from all these outside companies or property developers coming in, purchasing these properties now, and just charging huge amount of rent. Right, for people to move into these brownstones and all these new developments. So it's like you said, gentrification, moving everybody out, moving in who they want to, and just changing the whole community as a whole, you know?
So, you know, I was doing those things as a young person, right? So like I said, I was working for the Department of Youth Services, and then from there I got rewarded because of my work ethic, and, you know, I was just energized to be in government, because that's I've got to tell you about I got my degree in political science.
Okay.
From Stanford University, so I have a BA in political science. So I was very inspired to work for.
That's like a real passion for you. So I know
because
it's
hard for a lot of young people to go to school and say they want to become accountants, doctors, lawyers, and when they graduate, they can't find jobs.
Can't find a job.
They can't find
jobs.
jobs.
You end up working at JCPenney's doing cashiering.
Yeah.
You know.
So I felt privileged enough to be able to go to college, learn what I was supposed to do, but not only learn the discipline of political science, but also the engagement of being an activist, a student activist,
right.
And then being able to transfer those years of experience, right, that grassroots level of experience, and then go into the real world mainstream of things and apply it.
Right.
And then, like I said, when I was working in youth service, I got rewarded to work at City Hall in the mayor's office under David Dinkins.
I saw that.
And I worked on his media and analysis and press offices and did all kinds of stuff like that. Learned how to write speeches and stuff like that. You know, I was only like 27 years old.
Oh wow, you're prime.
And the funny thing is then after David Dinkins was term limited, I applied to the Manhattan Borough President's office, and when they saw my resume was outstanding. They were like, "Wow,
work for David Dinkins, that's major."
So when they saw it, they like, "Wow!" This was for Ruth Messenger, her press secretary at the time, and he said, "Wow, and I like you." And then
already,
and then the catch is that how old are you? And I said 27. Oh man! Now what it is now, there was an age discrimination, right?
Oh,
it used to be
you
older.
Were too young? You got discriminated because you were too young?
But here's the thing: the catch is that I'm young and I'm black, gifted and black, right?
Yes.
So they can't really appreciate that. That's in my opinion, right? Mm-hmm. Some people may disagree, but that's the way it is. That's how it was back in the day. So, so they couldn't appreciate the fact that I was smart, young, gifted, and black, and I was, young. But at the same token, if I was white and that young, I'll be rewarded.
Yeah, you'd have been.
That's how it was. Because I've seen it in City Hall. You know, I've seen people younger than I, or 2 years older than me, and getting paid over $100,000, $80,000.
Yes,
okay?
definitely.
It happens.
It
right?
happens.
So after David Dinkins was terminated, I was kept on under the Giuliani administration as well, and they kept me on because they liked my work as well, to help jumpstart their press office. And after I helped jumpstart their press office, they showed me the door. And then, that's when I ran, and I got picked up by Borough President Fernando Ferrer, and I stayed with Borough President in the Bronx.
Okay.
And I made the Bronx my final resting place for my home. And I got involved in that as well. I got involved in the civic life of that. I started a tennis association on 167th Street in the Moore Senior section of the Bronx. I was raised in the Moore Senior section of the Bronx back in the 70s.
Okay.
With my aunt, my grandaunt, and that's during the Austin fires of the 70s, and where the landlords used to burn down the buildings to get the real estate, the insurance money,
get the insurance money. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So it was a mess. So I want to feel like I want to contribute, because when I moved into the building that I was living in, it was just the living condition was horrendous. I mean, horrendous. My toilet didn't work for 2 weeks. I complained to my landlord. And he's like,
nobody was.
What do you want me to do about it?
Yeah,
it's crazy. So I said, okay, I'm gonna do something about it. And that's when I started not only to take care of my problems, but all the about 75 tenants' problems as well.
Oh wow!
And I filed in housing court. When people want to know what can you do, how can you stand up to your landlord, you got to file a civil action against them in housing court. So I filed an a Housing Preservation and Development it's called HP action in housing court. And basically, you pay the nominal fee. I don't know what it was at the time. Could have been $50.
The whole class action for the building.
So I had like 75 tenants I packaged up, and I was energetic back then. I mean, I went in everybody's apartment and found out what the issues were, and organized each person's housing violations per tenant for 75 tenants altogether. And then I submitted that to the housing court, and then they sent out a HP inspector to verify each and every complaint. And then he had A violations, C violations, B violations, all kind of stuff, to the point, and then, I don't know if I should tell you all my secrets, because there's some things, and you could do it. And so basically, this is when I was young. I was like I said, I was like 31 years old. And then after I packaged all that and I got the verified complaints from the housing department, I then took that verified complaint from the housing department. It will still work, ladies and gentlemen. Took the verified complaint, because now this is actual fact of what the violations are.
Yeah, you got affidavits from everybody.
And then I took that and then I packaged that into a rent reduction with DACR, the Division of Housing Community Renewal, DACR, and got the tenants a rent reduction.
Isn't that something?
That was the beautiful thing.
Bravo for that. That was a lot of work that actually paid off. So good point to anybody that may be going through housing issues.
And not only that, because then the landlord, after I did the housing,
did they allow you to still live there?
But that's what I was going to get to. So after I packaged got the rent reduction, then the landlord started coming at me left and right. Oh
yeah, you got to leave. You can't come in here and start all these problems and think you're going to live here. You got to go now.
It was the landlord at the time was Finkelstein and Morgan. Stephen Finkelstein at the time. He was coming around. But Stanley, I think his name was Stanley Morgan, whatever. That was he was basically Stanley Morgan was the brother-in-law of Stephen Finkelstein, and he married his sister. And Stephen Finkelstein's father had about 75 multi-dwelling properties in the Bronx. They still do.
Wow.
Right? I think after my relationship with them, they broke up. They broke up and they divided properties.
They did.
Yeah, and they totally two different entities now.
So you brought them down.
Yeah, Stephen Finkelstein, he was coming around and he was trying to really work, because I called them slumlords, because that's what they were.
Yeah, that was a popular term.
Yeah,
right? There was a lot of slumlords around that time.
And they were coming around because when you're neglecting people's properties or their household, the way they live, and they're paying you rent on time, you're a slumlord.
Yeah, definitely.
Plain and simple. And and the minute that they don't want to pay your rent, you want to evict them. So, and there was a lot of, and basically there was a lot of Spanish people that was my tenants too, and they would manipulate them in court because the problem with tenants at that time.
Sometimes they don't have a full understanding
of
what is happening. Nobody represented
the
them
lawyer would take them
properly.
to court, and they're supposed to have a Spanish interpreter, and they
Sometimes
don't have it there, and
Right.
the lawyer's talking in English and writing the stipulations out, and then having them sign. And
they don't know what they're signing. So I want to discuss right now the election that's coming up on September 12th. So you have 4 running mates. Who's on the ballot with you?
Okay, I'm gonna save the worst for last.
The worst for last. I know you got Elvin Garcia.
I'm running first.
You're running first.
William Wilson Moore
is running first.
Democratic candidate. Then you have underneath me Amanda Farris. Okay, she's basically a pro-woman candidate.
Mm-hmm.
You have Michael Belser that sounds like salsa that gives you a suggestion. So that's why you got to take the salsa.
Oh no!
That's a joke. And you got Garcia, Elvin Garcia.
Elvin Garcia.
Yeah, he's an openly gay candidate that's also running in the district as well. And then you have the last, but not the least, you have Ruben Diaz Sr. He doesn't like to use the senior or junior on his campaign literature because he's trying to confuse the voting public that his son is running, he's not running, and so they're confused. So when they go to vote, they think they're voting for the son, but they're actually voting for him. So these are the games that they play. They're not very honest. So.
Now, how many years has he been on the ballot? For years, right?
Well, he's been in office. So he said about over 40 years and stuff. When he first ran for the city council seat back in 2001, I believe, he ran, right, and it was a highly contested race. I believe that the council member of that time was Pedro Espada. He was running against him. Or someone else was running against Pedro Espada, and that person dropped out, and they used the committee of vacancy to put his name in there, and then he actually won the city council seat for about a period of 2 months.
Okay.
And then he ran for the 32nd Assembly seat where he is today. But he's only running for the seat to the city council seat, the current city council seat, to be a placeholder. He's running because he wants to retire in 2 years. He wants to support Donald Trump for president because he supported him last time. And he wants to hold the seat as a placeholder so that therefore he can pass it off in a special election to one of his cronies. This is what they all do in the Bronx Democratic County organization. That's why I call them inept. They don't really bring nothing to the table.
They're just there holding it, preventing other people that can really make a difference with the seat from obtaining that seat.
Yeah, and you can say they hold it predominantly for Hispanics and stuff like that, but it's not. It's more than that because they really don't care for the majority of Spanish people, in my opinion. They're concerned with the Spanish people that's in that family. Mm-hmm. That's who they care about. Okay. The Diaz's, the Crespos, and all these other, the Sepulveda. It's a tight knit network.
Okay.
And as long as their pockets is lined, they can care less who's a Spanish, got a funeral, Dominican, if they starve or not. It doesn't matter.
So this is your second time actually running, right? You ran before in 2013 against Annabelle De Palma.
Ran in 2013 against Annabelle Palmer, and the same folks and characters that are running now against me now supported Annabelle Palmer back then.
Okay.
And the reason why I ran against Annabelle Palmer back then is because, again, she's from the Democratic County organization. I found her to be inept. She was a do-nothing politician then. She's a do-nothing politician now.
I've seen that, yeah.
And at the same time, in the City and State articles, she was listed as one of the worst legislators.
And she won.
This is not my words.
And she won in 2013, so we don't understand that.
This is an investigation provided by the City and State publication.
Wow.
And I've been saying that back then. But at the same time, with the machinery, right? The machinery only wins because they suppress the voting population. There's voter suppression going on. There's about 90,000 registered Democratic voters, but only on these elections, if 5,000 come out to vote during the primary, that 5,000 come out because people have not been conditioned to understand the value of the primary.
I definitely want to talk about that.
The primaries are the most important electoral process ever because with the primary you actually determine who's actually going to win the general.
It's for the general election,
primary.
the main one in November,
yes,
right? So, District 18 covers what area?
District 18 covers Parkchester, Soundview, Shore Haven, Bronx River, Hardin Park, and the Classen Point section of the Bronx.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to throw out some issues because I'm not familiar with everything that, that under, as far as, you know, your area, like some of the issues that you're being faced with, that you need to correct, work on, help produce, create. So I'm just going to throw out some topics that I know that are important when it comes to election and who you actually vote for. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is housing. Do you have any programs in place if you are elected? Like, how would you help housing in your area?
Well, here's the thing. With housing in like the NYCHA development areas, the acting Manhattan district attorney came out with an investigation where it basically said that NYCHA lied with conducting investigations of lead paint throughout the NYCHA complexes, right? Throughout the city. That's damaging. Okay,
it could cause brain damage in children. You know, if a child eats that, it could definitely affect their mental. And
they were supposed to do annual tests of lead paint, and they basically failed the residents of NYCHA. You know, and that blame also not only goes to NYCHA, it goes to City Hall, goes to Mayor de Blasio. Someone missed the boat. Someone didn't watch, drop the ball. One of my candidates, Elvin Garcia, who was the Bronx director for Mayor de Blasio, dropped the ball. He also dropped the ball with the Legionnaire disease that was widespread in the Bronx.
I remember that.
And from what I was told, because of that, he was on his way of getting fired before he, I guess, resigned. So these are different things that, you know, these type of callous mistakes that these politicians and their special assistants are doing, and they're letting down the people of the Bronx.
So how do you plan on addressing that?
Well, I'm going to be forthright with the residents. I'm not only going to just to monitor situations from afar. I'm going to visit tenants and see exactly like I have been doing.
Yeah, like you have.
Knocking on doors, knocking on doors, and going there and looking with my own eyeballs to see what's going on.
Okay.
And
giving individual attention to the people that may be affected by this.
And giving them a voice.
Yes.
You know, because I can't do nothing unless I'm being backed up by the citizenry and the voters and the residents of NYCHA. Okay. So, you know, we need to basically have a forum together and even create a hearing down at City Hall, where my NYCHA residents can testify to what exactly what's going on in their development. Because, as we know, if they can lie on record, on paper, about lead, they can lie that that the repairs are being done, that the grounds are not infested with rats and roaches and stuff like that. And you know, the first thing they want to say is crime, this, crime, that. But let's talk about the living standards of people.
Exactly.
Because these people in the NYCHA,
they deserve a good quality of life as well.
You want to hear the big whopping surprise. A lot of these people in NYCHA, you would think that this is substandard living, or these are poor people. A lot of them are paying like $1,800 to $2,000 rent.
They're paying like co-op and condo prices.
That's ridiculous.
They are. I know in Marble Hill housing, people used to go by your income, or you had a cap on what you could pay. Now it could be it's just based on a certain percentage.
Rent
exactly.
To live with rats and roaches.
Yes, they are, and that hasn't changed. Nothing has changed, but except for the money. How about employment? How would you help? Well, I know there's more about NYCHA.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely you may have to put a unit for that. I know you probably have to bring some more people in to help you with that as well.
Yeah.
But we have a couple of issues, and I know we're running out of time, so I want to make sure that we address a couple of different things. So how about employment?
Well, here's the thing: with the employment situation in my district, you know, the median income floats about $34,000 a year. That's not enough to raise a family of one, much less a family of four.
Right.
So what I propose is I want to raise the median income of folks that live in my district from $34,000 to $60,000. With a $60,000 salary, you can afford to live in the era of gentrification.
Yes.
Because the whole purpose of gentrification is an ethnic cleansing of poor blacks, poor Hispanics, and poor whites. Get them out, bring people of other means and incomes in to replace them, okay? And then fix up where they live, right? That's another catch of gentrification as well. So I want to do that. I also want to create a multicultural center that's going to provide jobs and other opportunities to the residents of our district.
Great.
We have 80 different ethnic groups in our district: Bengali, Spanish, Puerto Ricans, Ganafunus, Haitians, Jamaicans, all these different ethnic groups.
80 different? Wow.
80 different ethnic groups, right? That basically have virtually not much things to do. If they go to a park, if they go to a fair in the community, That's the highlight of their day. So what I propose is I want to have a multicultural center that's going to tap into the off-Broadway and on-Broadway performances and bring world-class acts to the districts. Because of these 80 different ethnic groups, they have a cultural expression that's unique to them.
Right.
That people that lives in co-ops and condos in my district, because we have them, Parkchester's co-op, right? And there's condos, that will pay a lot of money to support an act or support a cultural expression or performance from that group.
Right.
Same thing with the Hispanic community. We can have beauty pageants, Hispanic beauty pageants. I will go to a Hispanic beauty pageant. You know what I'm saying? We have hip hop, the birthplace of hip hop.
Right. So
that other people, other nations, other countries, internationally, nationally, are making money from hip hop, and it started here.
Right.
Why are we broke?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Why are we struggling?
That's a good question. My question is, what happened to the community centers? What happened to the after-school programs? What happened to things like that within our community?
Well,
That's my personal question.
No, I'm going to tap into it. Like I said before, Ruben Diaz Sr. been in office 40 years. His son been in office about 14 years or 10 years going on 14 years, right? All these other politicians that are part of the county organizations have been in office going on 10 years. Collectively, they got over $20 million, right? Annually.
Yes.
Budgets, right?
Right.
They could create laws. They legislate. They could create laws. But yet the people are hurting and starving, right? Why are our community centers dilapidated? Why are our young people have no nothing to do with their time?
Nowhere to go after school.
Nothing, right? And they're not tapping into the resources of the Department of Youth Services to make sure that their community center is fixed up and that there's money is being earmarked for that. What are they doing? They're not doing a thing in the community, and the people are hurting. And at the same time, I think it's by design. I'm sorry to say it. It's by design. They want to force people out because they want to replace them with someone else that is lining their pockets, right, with campaign finance dollars.
That's all.
That's basically that's what it comes down to. Because if you look at a lot of their contributors, a lot of these politicians, right, you see that they get money from charter school companies. They get money from private real estate developers. All lining their pockets so that they keep them in office so they can greenlight their projects, their special projects. That's the bottom line. And our community is suffering. So while our young people are fighting in the streets, shooting guns, right, and getting hurt, you know, they'll do a press conference. Oh, we should stop the gun violence and all this kind of stuff. But you're not really putting nothing in that's going to curb the tail.
Giving children an option.
Yeah, giving them now from the streets.
Right.
There's actually grassroots organizations that need to be funded that have basketball programs, that have youth programs that's been knocking on doors, and all these politicians. And the politicians are not giving me any funding. I'm going to change all that because I'm going to be the politician and the elected official as a community leader to make sure that our community organizations are fully funded,
right,
and that our kids have an outlet.
Yeah. Now, what about crime? You have any? I don't know about the statistics of crime in your district, but
well,
they're
saying crime is on
a decline. That's
it's
what
on
they're
a decline,
saying.
right? But at the same time, we got to make sure that we get the guns off the street through gun buybacks. We got to work. We got to strengthen our local 43rd precinct. I propose that the 43rd precinct is overused and is underfunded. But I don't even want to say it's underfunded. I think we need another precinct in my district alone.
Okay.
Because it doesn't really fully serve the needs of the community fast enough.
Okay.
When crime happened in certain neighborhoods, they got the shot spotter and stuff like that. Okay, sounds good. But there's more crimes than that. There's people breaking in cars, okay, because they don't have, I guess, gainful employment, so they're trying to sell stuff when they break in your cars. There's little petty crimes. We gotta crack down on all these petty crimes that's happening in our community. And panhandling is down. I mean, you got a lot of stuff like that that's going on there. I mean, they also want to criminalize homelessness. That's another issue.
Yeah, that is another issue.
A person's plight of being homeless shouldn't be criminalized. We need to make sure that we get them cleaned up if they have mental issues. If they got drug issues, get them cleaned up, and also try to reform them.
Yes.
Okay, and to make them better citizens in terms of learning how to manage their resources and monies and stuff like that, so they can maintain a housing development or dwelling.
Now, that would be awesome to be able to maintain a lifestyle of their own.
Yeah,
right?
but it really pains me to hear some of the rhetoric that's going on. Because folks don't want to have a lot of shelters around them and stuff like that. But families that are homeless got to go somewhere, right? And a family who's homeless, could be your next door neighbor. Okay? It could be someone that you know.
Right.
You can't just demonize everybody with one brush and say,
No, you sure
oh,
can't.
they are just no good. I don't want them here.
No, you're right.
You know, because now we're putting ourselves at a higher standard. And then the folks that paint them with a brush, they call themselves Christians, they call themselves this, and they call themselves that. If these are all God's people, we got to find a place for
You
God's
have to
people.
find a place.
That's
You
just what I'm
definitely
saying.
do. So what about Rikers Island? I heard that there's a campaign to shut down Rikers
Well,
Island.
you
Are you
know,
involved with that?
the whole Rikers Island started movement really reached this apex after the Khalif Browder killing.
Okay.
That was a 16-year-old youth that basically got accused, was coming home from wherever he came from, school or whatever, and the police pulled him over. I think he was with a friend of his, and someone accused him of stealing a backpack. They didn't find a backpack on him. He got arrested and then sent to Rikers, awaiting trial
I remember that
for
story.
3 years. And I believe
3 years for a
he was being-
backpack.
I believe at the time he was being the prosecutor was Darcel Clark, if my memory serves me correct, and he languished there for 3 years, being beat up, abused, not only by the inmates, the Crips and the Bloods,
But
in there,
also the correction officers.
the correction
that are
officers.
supposed to, right.
This is we'll see it on videos, you know, slamming them on the floor, and the guy was the guy was innocent. You know, I mean, who does that in this
Did
day
he
and
commit
age?
suicide?
And then 2 years after he was released, 2 years later he committed suicide.
Right, I remember that
So
story.
you know,
Very sad.
so we got to shut down Rikers because it's a cesspool of corruption, a cesspool of just illicit drugs and things that's supposed to go on. It's supposed to be an institutional reform, right?
Supposed
Correction.
to be. That's what it's supposed to be.
Correction.
Right.
It's supposed to be an institutional reform, but bad things are happening. What I'm saying is not indicative of all the officers that's trying to do a good job in law enforcement in Rikers Island. So don't say that William Russell Moore said that all officers are doing this. No, what I'm saying that we all know who the officers are, and at the same time, you know, people in this fraternal organization have this blue wall of silence, this secret society way of doing
Protecting
things.
each other.
Yeah, they protect each other,
The
and then
inmates who they're paid to protect.
yeah, so the one apple become infested with worms. So we got to weed all this stuff out, and I want to shut down. I want Rikers shut down. There's a plan in place after a commission held it, saying that they in 10 years they can have smaller jails throughout the boroughs. And I believe Staten Island was one of the boroughs that didn't want a jail. I say all the jails go everywhere. Spread them out equally. Everybody get their fair share.
Right.
Okay? Because crime is crime, right?
Crime is crime, and it
Right.
happens everywhere.
Yeah, and
You know?
then there was another proposition, the use of Rikers, right? What's going to happen to Rikers Island after you break it up and you get rid of it, right? I want basically for that piece of property, that land, not to go to developers, because I know you got to tame Mayor de Blasio from selling it out to the developers.
Please, they'll jump all over that property.
Yeah, I want the land to not only go to, it could be a nice incubator for high-tech jobs that's going to teach young people and also people our age, right, adults as well, careers in technology, you know,
Creating
in
opportunities.
green energy, all these different things, stem cell research. It could be
Yes.
something special where we can boast to the world, like look what New York is doing.
Right,
We're just
right.
not a tourist center of the world, but we are a tech center of the world as well. New York is the
Be a
capital of the
leader.
world.
Right, that's true.
You know what I mean? So why can't we transform that island that was something of a period of chaos into something more beneficial and useful for the community?
I agree.
And
I
that's
agree.
what I
We
want.
definitely need
And then
that.
put housing there, right? Put housing, low income housing there, right? For people that want to work in the city and live in the city for their families.
So how about attracting small businesses, increasing job opportunities for your district? How do you plan on doing that?
Well, you know, one of the things is that we have to. I believe that, you know, if I could do eminent domain or whatever, but we need to control our commercial strip. We need to really remove the power from private hands and make sure that the community have more of a stake investment. Like same thing with a cooperative building,
Right.
where the residents control where they live.
Right.
We need to have a cooperative interest of business leaders that live in the district and that can control units of commercial strips, commercial storefronts in their district, in our district, and regulate the rents, because the rents are just too high.
Yeah, they're very steep
It's
right
too
now.
high.
Yeah, it's hard
And-
to stay in business once you
And
started,
then
right?
what's happening is that you have a lot of the interests. The big box stores coming in and gobbling up all the small mom and pop shops, and the mom and pop shops are very vital to our local economy because they employ your young person, your student, your average students, and if you have a pizza shop that they have an after school job to go to,
right?
And they pay them some pocket money. That's all they want to spend money
keep
on.
them occupied.
Yeah,
keep them busy.
go to the movies, spend some movies on clothes. Put away for savings and all that kind of stuff. So we need to really cater to our mom and pop shops and really protect them. And I will have that type of mandatory platform for my small businesses.
Well, great. Is there anything else that you would like for the community to know about you and your platform? Anything that we didn't discuss so far?
Well, I wanted to I talked about one of my passions again is the Multicultural Center. I want to say that I visited Old Westbury in Long Island, and they had a Multicultural Center out there that I would like to model mine after. It's called Yes We Can. Look it up. Modeled after the saying of Barack Obama's victory. Yes We Can, and it's fully funded. Environmentally friendly, and they have 2 NBA-sized gymnasium.
Okay.
The use of they have banquet halls in there as well, so the community can host events and stuff like that. And everything is modestly priced, affordable. When I say it's affordable, it's like dirt cheap.
Oh wow!
Because they have creative financing that makes sure that the community can afford to really enjoy it.
That's wonderful.
I mean, if you was to price what it costs to rent the YMCA versus there. And this is in suburbia Long Island, right? It's like bananas. It's like It's like crazy. The YMCA pricing.
Do you have a spot within your district, a location where you would?
That's a home run question right there. Oh yes, I do. What I want to do is I want to when I'm elected, I want to negotiate the purchasing of the Whitestone Theater.
Oh wow, okay.
Because it breaks.
It's closed down now, right?
It breaks my heart to what happened to the Whitestone Theater. And like I said, you have Ruben Diaz Sr., Ruben Diaz Jr., Marcus Crespo, Louis Sepulveda, Vic Chato. You got a whole bunch of all these names I can't pronounce. And no one stood up. I mean, really, no one stood up. So the
property is still there.
It's still
available to be.
It's an eyesore right now.
Oh.
The property has been turned into a weed-infested. A lot of buses, cars, junk cars, all kinds of stuff, and they have a big sign that says "built to suit," and they tell you I think it's 200,000 square feet or something, 200 square feet of property, something crazy, and it really breaks my heart.
That is a really great location.
Now, if I was to be able to negotiate the purchasing of that property. Not only am I going to create a multicultural center, but I'm going to also create it in such a way where it's an arena center, right? For the acts I was talking about, the acts.
Yes.
But so it can generate jobs. But not only that, in that facility, I'm going to have small business incubators.
Nice.
So if you want to be whatever you want to be, a TV producer, you'll learn TV producing.
Nice.
If you want to be a fashion designer, you'll learn fashion design. We have the Bronx Overall Economic Development Corporation. Let's put them to work. That's an arm of the Bronx Borough Presence Office.
I agree.
Which I came from.
Right.
So there's a bankrupt. A lot of our leaders are bankrupt of ideas. They rather just sit and collect a fat paycheck, and they're not thinking. All they're thinking about, in my opinion, I gotta say, in my opinion, is lining their pockets with developer cash, and not doing nothing for the people.
No, I totally agree with you. Especially the Whitestone it's almost like a landmark. It's been there for so long. And to just let that go, that's just a crying shame.
Not only that, was it the Victoria Theater in Parkchester? They let that go.
That's going to, oh wow.
That was a landmark as well. It became a Marshall's. I mean,
so
it's a slap in the face of the community.
Man.
I mean, there's little so-called protests and politicians come, let me get a petition going.
And that's about it. Then the
and then the next thing goes
fades
into a
away.
shredder.
Oh no, see, that's not good at all.
It's ridiculous.
So how do you feel about your overall support? I know the Voters Guide, you have strong following from the Spanish community and a lot of different communities as well. How do you feel about the support?
I feel confident. I feel victorious.
Okay.
If I didn't believe in myself, I wouldn't be here. I know I'm going to win.
Okay.
Regardless of the fact that so-called Ruben Diaz Sr. is running, that doesn't phase me. I'm not afraid of the powers that be. I'm unbossed, unbought. And
I was about to mention that you're one of the politicians that they have this saying that you can't be bought.
No,
like you're fair across the board, nothing under the table.
And see, this is more meaningful for me because I'm the first African American that ran for this position in over 50 years.
Right, I read that.
I mean,
it's been 50 years.
I mean, I don't want to see this district go from white hands to Spanish hands back to white hands.
Right.
Where's our cutness? Where's our
voice?
representation?
Where's our voice? Right.
We pay our taxes. So,
we do.
You know what I mean?
And we live here
Someone
too.
got to represent us too. And then after I'm gone, we're going to have the next Bengali representative. We're going to have got a funeral representative. We got to be fair.
Yes.
We got to share the wealth. We got to share the pot.
Yes.
You know, at this point right now, they're telling us we can't even get the crumbs off the table.
I'm starting to feel like it. Oh, that's all I'm getting.
I'm being
is
real.
the crumbs off the table.
I'm being doors and all these politicians, and the politicians are not giving me any funding. I'm going to change all that because I'm going to be the politician and the elected official as a community leader to make sure that our community organizations are fully funded,
right.
and that our kids have an outlet.
Okay.
And let the community speak for itself of what it wants.
Right.
The community will tell you what it wants.
Yeah, what
Supply
it needs,
them with what they want, and that's basically the kind of dialogue I want to have with the community.
Great. That's what we definitely need that. Now, what about crime? You have any? I don't know about the statistics of crime in your district, but how do you plan on addressing that?
They're saying crime is on
a decline. That's
on
what
a
they're saying.
decline, right? But at the same time, we got to make sure that we get the guns off the street, gun buybacks. We got to work. We got to strengthen our local 43rd precinct. I propose that the 43rd precinct is overused and is underfunded. But I don't even want to say it's underfunded. I think we need another precinct in my district alone.
Okay.
Because it doesn't really fully serve the needs of the community fast enough.
Okay.
When crime happened in certain neighborhoods, they got the shot spotter and stuff like that. Okay, sounds good. But there's more crimes than that. There's people breaking in cars, okay, because they don't have, I guess, gainful employment, so they're trying to sell stuff when they break into cars. There's little petty crimes. We gotta crack down on all these petty crimes that's happening in our community. And panhandling is down. I mean, you got a lot of stuff like that that's going on there. I mean, they also want to criminalize homelessness. That's another issue.
Yeah, that is another issue.
A person's plight of being homeless shouldn't be criminalized. We need to make sure that we get them cleaned up if they have mental issues. If they got drug issues, get them cleaned up, and also try to reform them.
Yes.
Okay, and to make them better citizens in terms of learning how to manage their resources and monies and stuff like that, so they can maintain housing development or dwelling.
That would be awesome to be able to maintain a lifestyle on their own.
Yeah, right? It really pains me to hear some of the rhetoric that's going on. Because folks don't want to have a lot of shelters around them and stuff like that. But families that are homeless got to go somewhere, right? And a family who's homeless could be your next door neighbor. Okay, it could be someone that you know.
Right.
You can't just demonize everybody with one brush and say,
"No, you sure
oh,
can."
they are just no good. I don't want them here.
No, you're right.
Because now we're putting ourselves at a higher standard. And then the folks that are painting them with a brush, they call themselves Christians, they call themselves this, and they call themselves that. If these are all God's people, we got to find a place for God's people.
You have to find a place.
That's
You
just what I'm
definitely
saying.
do. So what about Rikers Island? I heard that there's a campaign to shut down Rikers Island. Are you involved with that?
The whole Rikers Island started movement really reached this apex after the Khalid Browder killing.
Okay.
That was a 16-year-old youth that basically got accused, was coming home from wherever he came from, school or whatever, and the police pulled him over. I think he was with a friend of his, and someone accused him of stealing a backpack. They didn't find a backpack on him. He got arrested and then sent to Rikers, awaiting trial.
I remember that
for 3 years, and I believe
3 years for a backpack.
I believe at the time he was being the prosecutor was Darcel Clark, if my memory serves me correct, and he languished there for 3 years, being beat up, abused, not only by the inmates, the Crips and the Bloods,
but also the correction officers.
The correction officers.
Right.
This is we're seeing on videos, slamming them on the floor, and the guy was guilty. The guy was innocent. I mean, who does that? In
Did he commit suicide?
And then 2 years after he was released, 2 years later he committed suicide.
Right, I remember that story. Very sad.
So we got to shut down Rikers because it's a cesspool of corruption, a cesspool of just illicit drugs and things that's supposed to go on. It's supposed to be an institutional reform, right? correction.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Correction.
Right.
It's supposed to be an institution of reform, but bad things are happening. What I'm saying is not indicative of all the officers that's trying to do a good job in law enforcement in Rikers Island. So don't say that William Russell Moore said that all officers are doing this. No. What I'm saying that we all know who the officers are, and at the same time, people in this fraternal organization have this blue wall of silence, this secret society way of doing things.
Protecting each other.
Yeah, they protect each other.
The inmates who they're paid to protect.
Yeah, so the one apple become infested with worms. So we got to weed all this stuff out. And I want to shut down. I want Rikers shut down. There's a plan in place after a commission held it, saying that they in 10 years they can have smaller jails throughout the boroughs. And I believe Staten Island was one of the boroughs that didn't want a jail. I say all the jails go everywhere. Spread them out equally. Everybody get their fair share.
Right.
Okay? Because crime is crime, right?
Crime is crime, and it happens everywhere.
Yeah, and then there was another proposition. The use of Rikers, right? What's going to happen to Rikers Island after you break it up and get rid of it, right? I want basically for that piece of property, that land, not to go to developers, because I know you got to tame Mayor de Blasio from selling it out to the developers.
Please, they'll jump all over that property.
Yeah, I want the land to not only go to. It could be a nice incubator for high tech jobs that's going to teach young people and also people our age, right, adults as well. Careers in technology,
creating opportunities,
green energy, all these different things, stem cell research. It could be something special where we can boast to the world, like look what New York is doing.
Right.
We're just not a tourist center of the world, but we are a tech center of the world as well. New York is the capital of the world.
Right, that's true.
You know what I mean? So why can't we transform that island that was something of a period of chaos into something more beneficial and useful for the community?
I agree.
I agree.
We definitely need that.
And then put housing there, right? Put low-income housing there, right? For people that want to work in the city and live in the city for their families.
So how about attracting small businesses, increasing job opportunities for your district? How do you plan on doing that?
Well, one of the things is that we have to. I believe that if I could do eminent domain or whatever, but we need to control our commercial strip. We need to really remove the power from private hands and make sure that the community have more of a stake in investment. Like same thing with a cooperative building, where the residents control where they live.
Right.
We need to have a cooperative interest of business leaders that live in the district and they can control units of commercial strips. Commercial storefronts in our district, and regulate the rents because the rents are just too high.
Yeah, they're very steep right
too
now.
high.
Yeah, it's hard to stay in business once you started.
And then what's happening is that you have a lot of the private interests, the big box stores coming in and gobbling up all the small mom and pop shops. And the mom and pop shops are very vital to our local economy because they employ your young person, your student, your average students. And if you have a pizza shop that they have an after school job to go to, and they pay them some pocket money. That's all they want to spend money on.
Keep them occupied, keep them busy.
Go to movies, spend movies on clothes, put away for savings and all that kind of stuff. So we need to really cater to our mom and pop shops and really protect them. And I will have that type of mandatory platform for my small businesses.
Well, great. Is there anything else that you would like for the community to know about you and your platform? Anything that we didn't discuss so far?
Well, I wanted to talk about the one of my passions again is the Multicultural Center. I want to say that I visited Old Westbury in Long Island, and they had a multicultural center out there that I would like to model mine after. It's called Yes We Can. Look it up. Modeled after the saying of Barack Obama's victory. Yes We Can, and it's fully funded. Environmentally friendly, and they have two NBA-sized gymnasium. The use of they have banquet halls in there as well, so you can the community can host events and stuff like that. And everything is modestly priced, affordable. When I say it's affordable, it's like dirt cheap.
Oh wow!
Because they have creative financing that makes sure that the community can afford to really enjoy it.
That's wonderful.
I mean, if you was to price what it costs to rent the YMCA versus there. And this is a suburbia Long Island, right? It's like bananas. It's like
oh wow!
It's like crazy. the YNC pricing.
Do you have a spot within your district, a location where you would?
That's like the number. That's a home run question right there. Oh yes, I do. What I want to do is I want to when I'm elected, I want to negotiate the purchasing of the Whitestone Theater.
Oh wow, okay.
Because it breaks.
It's closed down now, right?
It breaks my heart to what happened to the Whitestone Theater. And like I said, you have Ruben Diaz Sr., Ruben Diaz Jr., Marcus Crespo, Louis Sepulveda, Vic Chato. You got a whole bunch of all these names
Just
I can't
let it
pronounce.
go.
And no one stood up. I mean, really, no one stood up.
So the property is still there,
It's still
available
there,
to be.
It's an eyesore right now.
Oh.
The property has been turned into a weed-infested a lot of buses, cars, junk cars, all kinds of stuff, and they have a big sign that says built to suit, and they tell you I think it's 200,000 square feet or something, 200 square feet of property, something crazy, and it's just it really breaks my heart.
That is a really great location.
Now, if I was to be able to negotiate the purchasing of that property, not only am I going to create a multicultural center, but I'm going to also create it in such a way where it's an arena center, right? Mm-hmm. For the acts I was talking about, the acts.
Yes.
But so it can generate jobs. But not only that, in that facility, I'm going to have small business incubators.
Nice.
So if you want to be whatever you want to be, a TV producer, you'll learn TV producing.
Nice.
If you want to be a fashion designer, you'll learn fashion design. We have the Bronx Overall Economic Development Corporation. Let's put them to work. That's an arm of the Bronx Borough President's Office.
I agree.
Which I came from.
Right.
So there's a bankrupt. A lot of our leaders are bankrupt of ideas. They rather just sit and collect a fat paycheck, and they're not thinking. All they're thinking about, in my opinion, I gotta say, in my opinion, is lining their pockets with developer cash, and not doing nothing for the people.
No, I totally agree with you. Especially the Whitestone it's almost like a landmark. It's been there for so long, and to just let that go, that's just a crying shame.
Not only that, was it the Victoria Theater in Parkchester? They let that go.
That's going to, oh wow.
That was a landmark as well.
Yeah.
It became a Marshall's. I mean,
so it's just closed, there's nothing going on there?
In the face of the community.
Oh, man.
I mean, there's little so-called protests, and politicians come, let me get a petition going.
And that's about it.
No.
Then the petition
and then next thing goes into a shredder.
Oh no, see, that's not good at all.
It's ridiculous.
So how do you feel about your overall support? I know the Voters Guide, you have, strong following from the Spanish community and a lot of different communities as well. How do you feel about the support so far?
I feel confident. I feel victorious.
Okay.
If I didn't believe myself, I wouldn't be here. I know I'm going to win.
Okay.
Regardless of the fact that so-called Ruben Diaz Sr. is running, that doesn't phrase me. I'm not afraid of
something is wrong.
So we need to wake up. We need to mobilize. We've got to realize our power. We're not minorities. We're the majority. And we got to make sure we have like-minded individuals to represent us and speak for us. Because if we allow these political, career politicians, Ruben Diaz seniors that just want to stay in office forever and ever and just die in office, we can't have that thinking. There's new blood that's flowing. Okay, it's like the advent of the internet.
There's new issues. There's new things that need to be addressed in these different communities. So we definitely need a fresh voice at this point. You know. Well, I definitely hope everything works in your favor. The primary again
September
is
12th. The polls open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. I need a lot of volunteers. If you want to contribute to my campaign website is More 2017. Please contribute. If you want to call me personally, I don't know my campaign number. I'm sorry. I can give my personal number, 347-414-1267. You can call me anytime. I'm here for the people. I'm here to fight for NYCHA. I'm here to fight for the homeless, here to fight for those who's been kicked out of their houses and apartments. I'm just here for the people of the Bronx.
And you also have a website where they can go and get more information.
www.more2017.com. So please vote for me. Come out and vote. My campaign manager is Pamela Stewart Martinez. You can call her anytime and call me anytime. We have a team of folks that's going to come out. I need all the support I can get. And I'm going to win.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you taking the time out and telling me about your campaign and your platform that you're running on. So make sure you come out, everyone, September 12th. Come out, go to your local primary, sign. Do you have to get registered and everything? If they're not, how can they do that?
I think the registration is up, but you can go to the Board of Elections.
Go to the Board of Elections.
Register to vote.
Register if you haven't already. Your vote counts.
The power is with us. We have 90,000 registered Democrats. Please come out and vote. This primary is very crucial. If you don't come out and vote, you're going to have another 4 years of the do-nothing politicians.
And you don't want that. You definitely don't want that.
Definitely don't want that.
Okay. Any final words for you?
You know, I love you all. That's all I got to say. I love you all. God bless.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you check out, go come out and vote. Check out his website as well. Volunteer. Time, money, energy, whatever you can to this campaign. Become a voice in your own community. It starts with you, right?
Yes.
It all starts with us.
And I also want to thank Lele from 15 Dynasty for helping me. He's a big help. And,
yes.
We need to support him too.
Okay. Well, thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye.
This is a Cinema Beats production.
Testimonial link, a JGTMTV music distribution.